Welcome, guys. We're just going to give it a few more minutes, and then we'll go ahead and start. I know we started a little bit late. We were having some technical difficulties. My other analyst, TJ, was not able to get on. We were going through some more technical difficulties just like last night, but we will get it figured out. Don't worry. No rush. But we are here to break down the slate, so do not worry. Just in time. Just in time. It looks like you guys are joining pretty quick tonight. I like that. I like the action. You guys can't hear me, right? Everybody can hear me? Mic check. Mic check. Everybody can hear me. We've had so many problems with our mics that I just want to make sure you guys can hear me. Can you guys please confirm that you can hear me? You can hear me loud and clear. TJ, I know you're watching. Can you go ahead and just give me the injury updates? TJ is going to be in the chat as well. All right, so you guys can hear me. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and dive right into this. So, not too much has changed since the start of my video from this morning. Awesome, you guys can hear me. Awesome, thank you. So not too much has changed, but the Bradley Beal news just came out. We're going to see how much that shook things up for the Wizards. Let me go ahead and look at that right now. So Washington Wizards, we'll go ahead and jump right into that. Washington Wizards, we are without Wagner, Bertans, Beal, Wall, Miles, Bryant. I think last time what I did was I just took off Beal, because I think the sample size was a little too small. So let's go ahead and look at that. Yeah, so this is the best sample size that we're going to get from these guys. So let's go ahead and compute this without Bradley Beal on the court. This is a pace down spot, so I do not want to overreact to this, okay? I do not want to overreact to this. I know the Wizards are going to be in good spots, but against Miami, it's going to be a down pace. So we're not going to overreact to this news, guys. Not going to overreact. Okay, so Troy Brown gets 1.19. Go to my calculator. You guys have seen this before. Troy Brown is projected at 34. What's up, guys? What is up? Thanks for tuning in. Troy Brown at 31.76. On our sheet, he is 40.46, so he is adjusted downward. That's a tough spot. That's a very tough spot. He's still undervalued on Verdo, so I'm going to leave him there. Troy Brown, though, he does produce when Beal is off the court. We are pending the Karl Anthony Towns news, so... thanks, TJ, for the update. He's most likely not going to play, so we're going to go to them after this. McRae. Let's see what McRae looks like. 1.16. 34.8. McRae, 31.11. Downwards slightly. That's fine. IT. He got a little bit more of a sample size. 1.67. 59.5. So do you know what I'm going to do? This is what I'm going to do, guys. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at the matchup, how these guys match up defense versus position. I haven't even looked at these. So Troy Brown, what I'm going to do is kind of inflate his number. I'm going to go ahead and inflate it to whatever it was, 1.19, since he has a great matchup against that guard position. So we're actually going to inflate his number to 40.46. That will be our leverage against the field. So we're going to take a lot of Troy Brown shares tonight. I think I can agree with that. I think most of you can agree with that. TJ, do you agree with that? It looks like he was suggesting him in cash. Madden, 10K winner last night with our advice. Is that true? Oh, so let me before I get started with this slate. I know I haven't dove too much into it yet. I want to go over last night. So I got a DM saying, "Hey man, like I took your advice and I didn't cash." Well, yeah, that's because you took one lineup and you stacked the Rockets, and the one guy that you took was Tucker. This is why I suggest GPPs, because you are evenly distributing yourself amongst all the Rockets. Like, for instance, I got 9th place in a GPP last night because I did not have Tucker in that lineup. I had Gordon, I had Hardenstein, I had all the guys that snapped. I even had, who else was it that snapped for them? It was House. Yeah, it was House. So I had that core, the Rockets, and then I also had Lonzo Ball, lucky me, in that GPP. Because I had that even distribution of all those Rockets, and then it was the studs that actually killed me. That's the reason I didn't get first place in that GPP. I was able to break even because of that. So get away from the one lineup thing. Just get away from it. Unless you're playing a cash game with that lineup, just get away from it. Even if it's 3 lineups, like distribute yourself amongst, evenly distribute amongst all the players that you can. That way you can garnish against, like, let's say random injury happened. Let's say one player just throws up a dud, shooting wise, like you're protecting yourself against that. So Madden King, thanks for stepping up. I really appreciate that. Shout out to Madden King for winning 10K last night with our advice. Hopefully you guys are next. Let's go ahead and do it again tonight. So like I said, I'm going to inflate Troy Brown's numbers just because he is, if you guys look on the screen, I keep pointing to it like you guys can see me pointing. 30th. They rank last against shooting guards. So that's good to know. So I'm going to inflate his number just a little bit. Isaiah Thomas, we're not going to touch his. Mahimi, let's see what he does. Mahimi. Where is he? 1.09. Also, guys, Thomas Jordan in the chat. If you guys see his name right there, he is one of our analysts. He is not stealing my thunder. He is going to help you guys answer any questions that you need answered. Mahimi's playing 25 minutes. 27.25. Mahimi. Ooh. What do they rank? So they rank 2nd. I'm going to leave his numbers there. Gary Payton was a stud on the last slate without Beal. Let's see what he's looking like now. 1.24. Gary Payton, 31 minutes. Oops. I didn't mean to click that. 28.44. Stay patient, guys. We're going to look at the entire slate in just a second. $38.44. And they rank 2nd as well. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if Gary Payton played more of a shooting guard role or if he played... TJ, can you look that up for me? Did Gary Payton play point or did he play shooting guard last game? Okay, you think Payton is priced appropriately? Hold on, guys. I'll answer all those questions in just a second. I want to make sure I get all these Wizards out of the way. But it does look like everybody else is priced accordingly besides Troy Brown. So we like Troy Brown tonight. I can agree with that. We really appreciate that, Madden. Really appreciate that. Honestly, really do. All right. Let's go ahead and sit back and look at this. Christian Wood on the video was one of my favorite plays on the slate. He is going against Utah in a pace down game at 3.8. He is a great fantasy point per minute player. We're going to be having a lot of shares to Christian Wood. Troy Brown, obviously just computed his numbers. Troy Brown is really in a really good spot and a really good matchup against the Heat tonight. So I think this is where our leverage is going to be right here against the field. Troy Brown didn't have that great of a night the last time he played. Troy Brown, though, 34 minutes, and he is a great fantasy point per minute without Beal on the court. 1.19 fantasy points per minute. Jordan McRae as well, playing 30 minutes, projected at 30 minutes, so that's another great play. So if you're asking me what's my top 3 value plays, all right, he's playing shooting guard, okay. IT was point guard. Okay, Jordan McRae is another great option. 31.11 fantasy points is what he's going to be predicted here. Those are our top 3 value plays. Christian Wood, Troy Brown, and McRae. We think Gary Payton is a little too expensive for our liking. He is a good GPP play, though, just because he is priced accordingly. Again, it's a pace down spot for the Wizards, so tread lightly if you're going to be playing any Wizards. Don't go too crazy with them. Don't stack them like we did with the Rockets last night. They are fairly increased in prices. Again, Whiteside is still a fantastic play. Fantastic play with Whiteside. Adebayo's another great play. I'm not too high on McCollum now just because Troy Brown is a great pivot to him along with McCray. I think McCray slides into that shooting guard position. Yeah, so you can go shooting guard with either one of these guys. McCollum's definitely more of a GPP play. I'm higher on Troy Brown and McCray. Vooch is still a great pick. I actually like Vooch a lot. So if we want to go over here and look at the Magic real quick, because the Magic, the news came out with Aaron Gordon being ruled out. So let's look at the Magic real quick. Real quick. To answer your question, we don't give out a lineup on stream. If you want an optimal cash lineup, we do that on our website at dailygrindfantasy.com. I am a primarily GPP player, so I will be doing multiple lineups. And Karl Anthony Towns just got ruled out. So here we go. And Wiggins. All right. Let me go through the Magic real quick, though. So with the Magic, I mentioned this. Also, guys, on the video that I post every single day, which I'm going to be doing every single day from going forward, I'll put in the pinned comment section updates on the slate. So whenever somebody gets ruled out, I'll go in there and post my favorite plays. So I'll treat it like an interactive chat in that sense. So if you guys have any questions, go back to the video, view the comments. I make it easy to follow. That way I'm not constantly posting to Twitter. I can just constantly update this pinned post that you guys are all familiar with. If you subscribe to me, you can just go right back to the video. If you guys like that format, let me know, because I feel like that's easier for me. All right, so without Aaron Gordon on the court, the biggest increase we get from Fournier, 4.1%. Another guy that gets increased. Vooch gets 1.1% and a 0.05 fantasy point per minute increase. So Vooch 1.36 fantasy points per minute and Fournier 1.06. So if we look at their price tags, because it is a pace up spot for Orlando, because Atlanta stinks tonight, I got questions about whether Atlanta was going to get blown out or not. Do not depend on that. Go and start these players. Even if that's scaring you away from Orlando, just look away from that, because you'll miss out on a ton of points if you fade teams because of blowouts. All right, so Vooch actually is the best point per dollar value now for us. Vooch, just because they're labeling him as a GPP play just because there's so many other options for centers on the slate. So Vooch might end up being a decent GPP play. But again, I think he could, at least point per dollar value-wise, as long as the game's close, he could outperform any center on the slate easily. Evan Fournier at 6K is another discount player, a great GPP play. Terrence Ross was a great play to start. Now is even better just because he's going to be putting up more shots. These are all great GPP plays. As you guys can see, the percentage ownership is not that high on any one of these guys. So Orlando might end up being a sneaky GPP stack. All right, so let me go ahead and look at Minnesota before I crunch out my lineups and see what our exposures look like, because I want to readjust Minnesota, obviously, with Towns being out, okay? So bear with me here. Minnesota looks like they're projected at 107. That's going to be a pace down just because of the Cat news. Like I said, Minnesota has just stunk this season without Cat. I feel like he keeps the pace going. All right, Minnesota. Let's see what it's looking like here. Graham also ruled out. That's also great to know. Okay. All right, so what's all the injuries? Is it Cat, it's Wiggins, and Graham now? Along with the rest of their horrible team? Wiggins, Towns, Layman, and Graham. Okay, so let's go ahead and take those guys off the court. Let's take Graham, Towns, Wiggins, and run this. Let's see what it looks like. It's going to be a pace down spot for these guys, okay? But if somebody stands out to me, I'm gonna input their it's too small of a sample. Let's go ahead and put Graham back on the court. Let's see what that gives us. All right, let's just go ahead and take Cat off. Adebayo or Vooch in cash? Good question. Great question. Can I answer? I don't know. I'll let you know in a second. Once I crunch these numbers, I'll let you know. All right, Guoji Zhang. Zhang, is he in a good position? Zhang going against 27th in the league against opposing bigs. Let's go ahead and crunch that number. I'm going to take whatever it gives us here. Guoji Zhang. It's inflated. We'll go ahead and take that. Teague 1.05. 29. We'll go ahead and inflate his number just a bit. Covington. Slightly better. Let's go ahead and inflate his number just a tad. $100 GPP, huh? Props. Props to you. McRae coming off bench. Well, McRae does normally come off the bench. If he's actually getting 30 minutes off the bench, he's still a fantastic play. He's the ultimate scorer on that second unit. But if his minutes do go down, I don't like McRae as much. Bear with me, guys. I'm going to crunch out all the numbers in just a second. So I inflated these guys just a tad. Let's see if there's any good plays. I'm not seeing anything that stands out to me here, with the exception of Zhang. I don't know if you agree with me, TJ. Nothing really stands out. It's a pace down spot. Markkanen expected to play. Thank you for the update. All right, let's go ahead and crunch these numbers. After I changed up everything, I know you guys are waiting for this. So go ahead and start asking your questions now, so I can, now that I have a better grasp on the slate. You said Teague if he actually shows up. Yeah, that's always the question with Teague. You never know when he's going to show up. Okay, so McRae, if he's coming off the bench and seeing 28 to 30 minutes, we still like McRae a lot. McRae is just, he's a great usage guy. All right, so these are what our exposures look like. Our sleeper player, as we've gone over many times so far, Troy Brown's going to be our sleeper just because it looks like Roto projected him a little bit lower than what we want him at. It looks like he's a very productive player when Beal's not on the court. Beal, when he's off the court, Brown averages 1.19 fantasy points per minute. He didn't do that well in the last game, not as well as Gary Payton. He still hit value, but he did not show up as he normally does without Beal on the court, so we like him as a good GPP play. Thoughts on fading Giannis. So here's the thing. Here's the thing with Giannis, guys. Giannis, I've been corrected by somebody from our DMs. I don't, Giannis, yeah, whatever. Giannis is very expensive and does not fit the mold of much of these lineups. So I'll show you what I mean. If you scroll down here, he shows up in 8% of our lineups, which means, well, let me expand my page. I'm sorry, this is ugly for you guys. My bad. So Giannis, because he's so expensive and there's not that many value plays on the slate, there's more mid-tier options. I'm okay with fading Giannis because he's going to be so low owned. It shows him as 26.58% in tourneys. I'm assuming because that's more GPP. If you want to play him in GPPs, that could be huge leverage because if he snaps and then your value plays go off, it's going to be a huge payout, huge leverage against the field. Okay, so Giannis is a great play tonight in GPPs only. Okay. Only good in GPPs, Giannis. I know that's crazy to say because he always shows up against Chicago. He has been because it's a pace up for them. But the thing is, you're not going to be able to grab as much exposure to the mid-tier plays. So if you look in the first lineup there, McCollum, I'm not saying this is an optimal lineup. McCollum, McRae, Fournier, look how many of these guys are in the mid-tier. Christian Wood being the only value play. Bam Adebayo mid-tier. Damian Lillard considered just below the elite option. Troy Brown being mid-tier and Hassan Whiteside all mid-tier. I'm not going to play Giannis in my cash games or in the majority of my GPPs. I'm going to have a little bit of exposure to him just in case, like I said, none of these guys show up in the mid-tier range. Giannis snaps, and then I have exposure to all the low-value options. Giannis. I'm sorry. Giannis is the way to pronounce it. It's just the way it's spelled. I know. Giannis. I know. I'm sorry. All right, so I've been getting that question a lot. Is Giannis a viable option today? Everybody loves Giannis tonight. I get it. I 1000% get it. It's stupid to fade him against Chicago. I know, but it just does not fit the mold. You have to look at the mold of these lineups. Where's all the value? It's coming in these mid-tier ranges. Look at this. 5.8, 7.1, 7.6, 6.6, 7.9. It's all mid-tier. If there's somebody you fade, it's not Christian Wood tonight. Do not fade him. Don't fade Christian Wood. The only way Christian Wood doesn't perform well is if he gets in early foul trouble against Gobert. Go ahead and fire your questions away. Zhang isn't a bad play, as we said earlier. That Zhang's only going to be a good GPP play, though. Zhang's not going to be a great cash option just because there's so many other centers on the slate. He's going to carry low ownership. He's in a good defensive position here, 27th in the league. So Zhang is going to be a good play. I want to go back to my lineups here because I want to sit on him here. I want to look at him some more. Let it digest. Troy Brown's our sleeper. Jimmy Butler, if you're looking for a straight up option, Isaac or Butler. Butler's going to be more chalk. Butler's in a better spot. Isaac, they have Vooch still. They have Fournier still. Isaac doesn't get that much of an increase. I think I have Orlando still pulled up. No, I don't. So I'll show you what Isaac's looking like. Isaac could get overlooked, yes, but at 6 point or whatever he is, 6.2, I think is what he's at. He's not that viable of an option. Yeah, but Butler's a good play tonight. So if we look at the Magic, I said my favorite are Vooch, Fournier. They get the highest usage on the slate, or on the team, sorry. Isaac, 19 usage, so he's not going to be that good of a play tonight. 1.05. Fournier averages more than him. Mo Bamba. He's only playing 19 minutes, though, I believe. I keep getting the question, play Giannis. It depends on what you're playing. If you're running like 5 lineups, you gotta have Giannis in one of them with pay down options. You gotta have exposure to that, at least some exposure, because Giannis obviously isn't a great spot. I'm not saying he's not a good play. I'm saying that if you have Giannis and he does bad, guess what? It's going to be the worst night for DFS for you because there's so many good mid-tier options. So many. But if Giannis does well, I mean, there's still all those mid-tier options that still can outperform him point per dollar wise. Book. I haven't gotten that question. So this last game is still a great stack because Phoenix and Portland are both in pace up spots. This is the highest over under implied live over under on the entire slate. So 7.5 is not a bad play. Booker is not a bad play at all, and especially now since of all these mid tier options, he's going to be low owned. Yep. Rose, Teague or Rose. Okay, let's go ahead and look at Detroit real quick. The only thing that scares me with Rose is I know he's a stud, but he never gets close to 30 minutes, man. When he does, it's because somebody else gets in foul trouble. 26 minutes, 6.3, a total GPP option. He's not going to be high owned whatsoever. I would probably go with Teague. Teague's a safer option here. They're projected higher over under anyway, 5.5. I mean, 29 minutes without Cat or Wiggins. Teague is going to be the better play tonight. Vonleh's a good play. GPP, though. I know I keep saying GPP. I'll give you cash options. How about that? We'll start with cash. Let's go cash. Christian Wood, Whiteside, Adebayo, all great plays. Butler, Dinwiddie, I know it organizes by percentage ownership, but I agree with all these. All these guys were in my video earlier. I think the people that are going to go Giannis with a bunch of low price guys aren't going to do well in cash, okay? You could pay off for them in GPPs, but not cash. Okay, so Giannis won't have a minute restriction. That was another thing. I just got that update. It looks like he was limited to 30 minutes here on Roto. He's going to be playing 32 to 34 minutes tonight. So that's him without a limit restriction. So we'll wait for those to update, and then we'll update values again. Thoughts on this GPP line? McRae, Ross, Butler, Wood, Bam, Lillard, Whiteside. Got 6,400 left for forward. I like what you have right now. Absolutely. I actually like that a lot. 6,400 for forward. Let's go ahead and look at it. 6,400. I would say go right to Isaac there because he's going to be low owned. Yeah, that kind of stinks. There's nobody in here that I like besides Fournier. Covington, I like Fournier and Covington. If you want to take that price decrease, I like Fournier. I think Fournier is one of my favorite plays GPP wise. I feel like the guy has a high ceiling, especially with the over under tonight and with Gordon out. Yep. That'd be a good lineup. I wouldn't complain about that. I do like the Magic tonight. I like the Magic and GPPs. They're going to all be low owned. Atlanta obviously they don't have anybody on the floor tonight, it feels like. Bogdan or Troy Brown? Troy Brown. He's going to get more points. We like Troy Brown the most. We like Troy Brown. Without Beal, he is a stud. All right, lineup is Teague, Dinwiddie, Mitchell, Book, Melo, Oubre, Collins, Wood, Vooch. I like that lineup. I like the plays in it, but listen, those guys are all going to be very low owned. Like Mitchell's going to have virtually no ownership tonight. Oubre's gonna have no ownership. Melo's gonna have no. Book's not that. I mean, that's like one of those lineups that's gonna take down a milli maker or something because nobody's gonna be high owned. What I would do if you're playing a little bit lower in GPPs is mix in some high owned guys. So that's another thing with GPP is like you have to play a good solid mix of high owned guys mixed with very low owned guys to really do anything in GPPs. So somebody that's gonna be very high owned tonight would make sure you have a nice core of cash plays like Wood, McRae, Whiteside, Butler are all going to be high owned. Like I would start there and then start fishing for some low owned guys. Yeah, I do like the Wizards, and I think Gary Payton. Listen. Gary Payton. Well, we haven't mentioned him much. I like him too. I do like him, but if you're going to take the discount in price, Troy Brown's going to be lower owned, and I think he's a better overall play in general. He is really good against shooting guards. And I think, is he starting? Because they announced the starting lineup, right? Troy Brown's playing in small forward position. Gary Payton. Do you know what? I'm going to adjust Gary Payton just a little bit because I'm scared of his defense first position. Because I know the rotation-wise for Washington, it's funny because look at the big drop-off here. It goes from 30th, literally last in the league, to 9 to 10 when you get down to small forward and down low. So I'm going to adjust Gary Payton just because I think I want exposure to him in my GPPs. Only GPPs, okay? Only GPPs. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I have a little bit of exposure to Gary Payton. I don't hate Gary Payton tonight. I think Troy Brown's better. Value-wise. Let's take Bradley Beal off the court. Yeah, Gary Payton for FanDuel. If he's only 5,300, if he's only 53,000 or 5,300, go ahead and hammer that. That's a discount. Wow, that is a big discount. Yeah, I usually don't hand out FanDuel news, but if that is true, hammer Gary Payton. Let's go ahead and put him in at 1.24. I want some exposure to him. This is the only reason I'm doing this because he's not popping on Roto. I want him to pop more. Like he's only projected 30.48 fantasy points. You want leverage against the field. Like, you want to take risks in GPPs. I'm a GPP guy. How many minutes was he? 31. I'm debating in my head if I should actually inflate him this much. But like I said, guys, all the options for mid-tier range are here tonight. How did I do last night? Me personally, I barely broke even because I had 70% exposure to Tucker. I handed out a core, you guys. If you guys were joining with me last night, I gave out a 4-person core, which hammered. Literally everybody did very well. And then my 5-person core included Tucker. I'm sorry to those who took the 5-person one as opposed to the 4. But Tucker was the only guy in Houston that underperformed. Literally everybody overperformed. I was amazed by the bench play for Houston. I mean, I was getting frustrated internally just because I didn't have enough exposure, but like Eric Gordon snapped. I recommended him as a good GPP play. And then like Gary Clark did really well. Hardenstein snapped. One of our favorite plays yesterday. So I barely broke even. I wish I would, and it was only because I got 9th in the GPP. And it was funny because the drop off was like from 9th place, it was like $50, and then first place was $1,000. So that's how big the drop off was. If I would have got the 7th, I would have doubled up, I think tripled up my money right there. And then a couple more spots, I would have gotten $500, and that was a $8 GPP. I think I had 22 entries in there. Yeah, good for you if you pass on Tucker. Yeah, Clemens was a great play last night, but like I normally say, I'm a minute guy. If the guys aren't getting minutes, they scare me. They absolutely terrify me. So they just weren't. I think Clemens was projected at like 20 minutes, and that just scared me. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this. Troy Brown still being the best play. I have some exposure to Gary Payton, 56%. Okay, so Christian Wood, McRae. We do like the Wizards again just because Beal does that much. Jimmy Butler being another great play. Vooch, all these guys I've mentioned. If you guys want to take a screenshot of this or if you guys want to memorize this, go ahead. These are going to probably be my exposures for tonight. John Collins at 8,300 on FanDuel. I'm going to be honest with you, bud. I'm not high on the Hawks. Not high on the Hawks tonight. I get it. Collins without Trae Young. That could be tempting, but the first thing to look at on any slate whatsoever, I'm just going to make sure this is accurate. Vooch, it was, I got asked that question earlier. Vooch or Bam, I feel like they're literally identical. Let's see what the molds look like here. Bam Adebayo is going to be higher owned. Oh, sorry. That's my first build. Oops. Where's Bam? See, like, dude, they are 1% off in ownership. It's showing Bam as being higher owned. I think I've seen more higher owned guys on Bam. So let me answer it this way. If you're playing cash, Bam Adebayo. If you're playing GPPs, go Vooch. I do like Fultz. Fultz is not bad. Again, GPP. Fultz got a slight increase, but not much at all. Fultz could be a nice little gem. Sure. I actually have 0 exposure to them, so that's actually surprising. But that just goes to show you how low owned he'll be. Fultz is not a bad option. Yeah. Yep. Exactly what TJ just said. So Bam has a better matchup and Vooch is higher usage. Not that Vooch has a bad matchup. It's just that Bam has an elite matchup tonight. Bam. I don't like Collins tonight. I don't like Collins. I don't even like Collins in GPP. There are way better options. All right, so I'll wrap it up with saying this. I'll give it about a few more minutes to answer questions, but I will leave with this. Troy Brown, great play. I think Peyton's a good play. I think McRae is a great play. Christian Wood, Jimmy Butler, and Whiteside are all elite options on the slate. I think you have your most exposure to those guys. I think outside of that, like McCollum, you can get away with. Vooch, I really like. Dame's obviously going to be high owned. He's in a great spot as well. All those guys are in pace up spots. If there's nobody else to pick from Collins, I apologize. I just don't like Collins. I wish I was a FanDuel guy to help you out a little bit more. If you got 3 Magic guys in your lineup, it's not that bad, especially if it's a GPP. Those guys are going to be low owned for sure. Lineup for cash: McRae, Payton, Butler, Wood, Whiteside, McCollum, Brown, Adebayo. That's pretty solid. It looks like McCollum's ownership's way down though, because of all the mid-tier options that popped up with the injury news. So if like you can switch from McCollum, the only guys I'd raise my eyebrow at are McCollum. Yeah, if it depends on how much you got left over for McCollum. McCollum's not a bad play though. Pace up spot, I don't mind it. Like I said with the T-Wolves, let's go over them real quick before I get off. I'm just gonna say this: the Timberwolves are not a good offensive team this year, without Cat. That is, I mean, they just seem like they can't get going without Wiggins, without Cat. Like, who's scoring the basketball here? Teague? I mean, Teague's your best option for scoring, really? Zhang's not an offensive guy. Covington's just gonna chuck up threes. Like, I guess Napier would be the only offensive option here. Yeah, I mean, Napier would only be a good GPP play. Only. I mean, like, Okogie, he's just not a good player. Man, like, the T-Wolves, they're a sorry team. I heard that Cat's actually thinking about leaving. Those were just rumors, though. Apparently, that's why he's been out for so long. He's blaming it on injury. I don't know. All right, I'm going to get off in about 2 minutes, guys. Ask your last-minute questions. Thanks for tuning in. Again, guys, we are growing the YouTube channel so much lately, so much. It's very humbling. We appreciate all the support. Again, if you guys want to check us out on Twitter, it's DG Fantasy. If you want to follow us there, we give a lot of updates there as well. I'll be doing this for all of my videos. I'll be doing a main video to go down and break down the slate. If you aren't able to join the live streams, I'll put all the updates there in the comment section. I will pin it, so it's right there at the top for you guys. So if you guys want to check where my mind's at, go ahead and ask questions in there. Go ahead and check the pin posts. Don't be shy, ask the questions. We'll be monitoring it all day. I get notifications straight to my phone. Whenever I have the chance to respond, I can. All right, so final question. I'll go ahead and take one more here. Vonleh, like a minute projection and such. All right. 17 minutes, 3.3. Power forward, it looks like they're putting him defensive. Only good in GPPs. We'll see what he's been doing. Haven't been keeping track. Like, he had a great game here, but against Cleveland. Brooklyn's a little bit better in Cleveland. He hasn't really done anything outside of the second unit on Denver. Only GPP. I'm not a huge fan. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. This is it helps me as well. It helps me to talk it over. It helps me to answer questions because now I know what position I'm gonna take. I was on the fence at the beginning of the stream about Gary Payton, but the more I looked at the stats, the more I looked at the defensive projections here on the side, the more I like Payton. So it's good to sit down and talk. Also, we're gonna be having TJ join the stream, so you guys won't have to look at the chat as much for his projections, for his picks. All right, with that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get off. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the support. I'll talk to you guys after this slate. Hopefully another guy can win 10 grand tonight. That was a great surprise. Thanks for letting us know, Madden. 10K winners, send us any pictures of that you guys have. I love to watch people win. All right, guys, have a great night. Have a great Monday night.